Austin Scelzo is a Connecticut person just pioneering activism in the bluegrass world. He's a music educator and founder of the Connecticut Bluegrass Association. He is a Wernick Method Instructor, blogger, YouTuber, a performing artist with the bands Rock Hearts and On the Trail. And partbyheart.com is something you can check out too. He has a website, Austin Scelzo, SCELZO.com. And you can go there and check out there's amazing, his schedule is really packed, very active. I'm going to continue to try to connect us. Austin, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, I actually made it work. I used to do.
Going, man.
I used to do they used to broadcast AAA baseball games out of Torrington, and that was years ago. And I used to know how to work the system back then, and I haven't actually played with the in-house system since then. But we did it.
I'm glad it all worked out.
Yeah, indeed. You are a very active young guy in the bluegrass world, and I just wanted to take a moment to congratulate you for winning the 2025 Momentum Award for Industry Involvement at the IBMA. Yeah, at the IBMA convention in Chattanooga. I had a lot of fun down there. That was a really nice venue.
Yeah, I've been going to IBMA since 2021 when I first quit my job as a school teacher. I went down with the Rock Hearts the first couple years, and then the past couple years, Rick and I from the Rock Hearts have gone, but I've got more involved with the Kids on Bluegrass program there. So I've been going, sort of solo and having a great time, even without a band.
Well, the kids are the future of this music, and I do actually pay attention to what they do because there's some amazing talent at a young age among some of them.
Unbelievable levels of talent. Honestly, I got back and I told folks some of these kids that are 11, 12 years old are better than some of the semi-pros in the Northeast. I mean, they're taken from the best from around the world, But the speed with which these kids pick things up, I mean, I could tell them, hey, Bobby Hicks did this one thing and in this thing, try it out. And it's pretty advanced, thing. They have no fear. They figure it out and they put it right in the music. It's amazing to watch.
Exactly. That's why I taught my kids to ski when they were little. They're fearless. They're immortal, Anyway, no, there's a few of them who are outstanding. I actually did a radio interview with a young girl from Western Virginia named Hollis Oakes.
Hollis, yeah. Hollis came up to the Ashokan Center, actually, where a large part of my work, teaching this music happens. She came up for something there. I think it was maybe Western and Swing Week, or maybe I just know her from IBMA, but I know very talented fiddler.
She's a highly evolved fiddler at her age, yeah. It's kind of fun. I've been a judge at the Roxbury, Connecticut Pickin and Fiddlin contest for about 30 years, and for me it's fun to watch the kids division. There were a couple of kids that first appeared. We have a youth prize division, so they can get cash and ribbons. It's glory. But there were a couple kids that were performing about age 9, and I would see them once a year, and they were just born to pick. And one of them actually is a kid named G. Rockwell, who has a band called High Horse now, and the other one is Corey Brodsky, Rick's son.
Of course, and G. Rockwell and I have had a long musical history. We actually, he played on our latest On the Trail record called Where Do We Go From Here. He played banjo on that track.
Oh, cool.
The title track of that. And also we were just reaching out to Bluegrass Today because G. Rockwell and I and a few other members of the, New England bluegrass scene did a, in part, parody version of a 90s boy band pop song called, by the Backstreet Boys.
God, I managed to miss that era.
Yeah, we did a music video of that up in the Boston area, and just released it this week. It's been getting a lot of interest.
I can find us on YouTube.
Yeah. It's called the parody on Backstreet Boys is we're the Mash Street Boys.
The Mash Street Boys. Okay, we'll search around and pick that up. No, it's you are a retired public school teacher and of music, and I am a retired visual arts teacher, and we have a kind of a common experience, no matter where we were, of budget cuts and low enrollment and that sort of thing. And what you're doing to promote the musical arts is just really quite astonishing. You basically structured the Connecticut Bluegrass Association, and I'd like you to kind of tell the listeners what goes on with that group.
Sure. Well, part of my, quitting my public school teaching job is I started teaching bluegrass in addition to playing it on weekends. I started teaching it on the side, and people just really ate it up. I had a Wernick Method jamming class on a Saturday afternoon in Bethel, and all those students after an 8-week class got together and jammed every week. It kind of doubled the number of, public Connecticut bluegrass jams,
Yeah.
because there's not a ton of it, or there wasn't a ton of it in terms of like being advertised as public. Come on over and, play music with us. And so I noticed, in addition to kind of the awesome energy that was returned to me whenever I brought my teaching skills to the bluegrass world, I also noticed that all these organizations around Connecticut were, really strong bluegrass organizations. The Hudson Valley Bluegrass Association,
Right.
Rhode Island Bluegrass Alliance, Boston Bluegrass Union, the Maine, all these states around us had thriving organizations. And Connecticut has had iterations of that in the past, but fully dormant by the time I was kind of looking into it. So I spoke with as many people as I could about, putting it together and about the history of what had existed. And now it's a great resource for people. I really enjoy when people are traveling through Connecticut and they look up bluegrass in Connecticut and they find the local jams through the calendar. It's really entertaining.
Yeah, this is an amazing public service, and I used to try it back in the olden days. I used to announce, concerts and little, house parties and things like that from those lists, and then they sort of faded away and got more irregular. But I really, structure is so important, because if you're just, like I say, people just wanting some information, there's a wide variety of it there for sure.
Yeah, it's made it really easy, and I'm trying to make it every time I go to IBMA, I try to learn as much as I can about making it more interactive and more useful for people. Just last year, I met the president of the Minnesota Bluegrass Association, and he got on a Zoom call to help me set up a system where people can, upload their events or jams right to the website, and it goes right to the calendar, and kind of, he found out a way to automate that so it would get up to the calendar really quickly. And that, changed things a lot. I know that Todd from his bluegrass radio show on Saturday mornings, he uses that almost all the time. He checks the calendar to announce what's happening for the week. So people are engaging with it. People are liking it. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's a great public service, and you're not getting rich doing this. Let's put it that way. This is not for money. Unless,
no, I actually keep careful track of how much money I have spent.
Yeah, there's
keeping the website going, buying, making plugins. Some plugins cost money to make sure things run, and then
right.
Ordering stickers and all these sorts of things.
It's a joy. Well, on the other hand, without you propelling it, there's going to be some momentum for someone to take over and continue after you've done your part, and that's part of the legacy of this music. When go ahead.
I was just going to say, I tried to set it up. I did a lot of research when I was setting up, and I tried to set it up as self-sustaining as I could. So one of the cool features about it is that I added these plugins that run, Facebook and Instagram posts. So, for example, like Podunk Bluegrass Festival, or the Connecticut Bluegrass Association Facebook page, or various radio shows. I believe if your radio show has a Facebook group or attached to it, I know there's a couple, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but they're all embedded into the homepage. So if you go on the homepage, the latest posts from all these, social media services show up right at the top. So it automatically kind of updates itself. And then, of course, the newsletters every month are a part of what I see throughout the month, people posting and sharing online.
Well, this is you have come a long, long way. I first met you at the Podunk Festival years back when you were like sitting at a card table by the Trading Post barn there. I think you were just first getting this going. And I remember we ended up talking for 30 minutes just because you just connected as being the right kind of soul to do what you're doing. And it's, I see you everywhere. We both get around the bluegrass world.
Well, it's so fun all year round. There's so much to do. And whenever I was a school teacher, I just couldn't wait. I remember packing my bag for a weekend festival or a workshop or something. Packing my bag on Thursday night so that after work I can run on over. It's just such an exciting community to be part of.
Be early, yeah. It's interesting because I grew up in Chicago, and I grew up listening to blues and jazz. And I ended up at grad school at Indiana University, and I started teaching high school over in a little town near there called Nashville. And all those kids worked at Bill Monroe's Bean Blossom Jamboree in the summer, and I had never heard from it. And they said, oh, well, if you remember us in the fall, we'll give you a wristband and let you park in the shade. So I tried it out, and I got hooked. And to this day, I thank those kids for convincing me to just try it out. But it was, I'm going to date myself now. It was, I would say, 1980. And so, like, Bill's older brother, Birch Monroe, was still alive and sawing fiddle tunes out, sort of. And the McLean family was all still alive and playing together. It was a different world. But that's how I tripped over bluegrass. My high schoolies just said, oh, you should try it. You'll like it. And they were right.
It's amazing that you say this when you did. I just had an interview earlier today with Chris Worth from Guitar Town. He runs this great podcast called Got Grass. And, we were talking about the early roots and things like that. And I was sharing, at the end of that interview, what has kind of been a huge driver to my work. I think his question was, if you could, change something about like your past or if you were to go back, what would you do differently or something? And I said, I'm the kind of person that, I'm very kind of naturally optimistic and positive. And I told him I use my past to drive my future. And for me, I grew up not knowing anything about any of this music until freshman year of college when I, got invited to go to Gray Fox for my first ever bluegrass festival.
Oh, there's an initiation.
Yeah, right. But I grew up, just 20 minutes away from some of my now fiddle heroes playing at a venue called Fire in the Kitchen, where they bring great, fiddle players like Darrell Enger and Brittany Haas and all these, people who I look up to today. They were just playing 20 minutes from me, and I didn't know a thing about it. I didn't. My school orchestra teacher was like a choir person, so she wasn't really plugged in.
Yeah.
And it drove kind of my mission now to help get information out to people of all ages, to show them what an awesome world this is.
Indeed. Oh, and coming up, what was your prime instrument? Were you like classically trained?
Yeah, I learned to play, I learned to read notes and play violin in the school orchestra. I had a local private teacher who, taught me out of the books how to read and things like that. A little bit of Suzuki and a little, not the Suzuki method per se, but I read some of the tunes.
Right.
And was really involved in my school music programs, but, had nothing to do with folk or playing by ear or improvising. It was all kind of the traditional school band, school orchestra, school choir, that sort of stuff.
Yep, I endured many decades of them. Frequently, the practice rooms were near the art room. And so we got to hear the good, the bad, and the indifferent over and over. What's next on the horizon for you? What are you working toward?
Well, I am. When I quit my job, I established a yearly camp of my own. That's a weekend in January. It's Martin Luther King Day weekend, and it's called Jamuary.
Oh, there we go.
So it grew from my first year. I was probably 28 or 29 students. To the next year there was 60, and then the next year there was like 80 with more teachers and more people involved. So, it's been growing, and I always look forward to that event. But there's so much going on. It's hard to say one thing. I mean, I'm really excited about this app that I've just released into the world. It's called Heart by Heart, and it's about learning your harmony parts. For trio singing, learning your part by heart. And so you can listen to each of the, baritone or tenor parts isolated and practice it along with, different iterations of, you can practice it as a duet with just the, melody, or as a trio with the melody and the tenor. If you're working on the baritone, you could change the key. I mean, it's 2.5 years of working on it.
And the funny thing is, it's such a simple, complex concept. just to be able to do that. But the actual doing of it is where your skills come to play. I was smart enough to marry a woman who's an engineer because I have no math brain whatsoever. So, enlightenment. That's I noticed this. I'm holding the Momentum Award thing from the luncheon at IBMA, and it does right at the end. It says heartbyheart.com. How can people? Yeah, they actually present the last words of the last line there under your name.
That's great.
Yeah, so there you go. How can people find out more information about you and what you do and the diverse world that you inhabit?
Sure, yeah. Well, if you're in Connecticut, the Connecticut Bluegrass Association is a great place to look. That's ctbluegrass.com. If people are looking to learn, I teach, fiddle, mandolin, and guitar a lot on YouTube. So they could just search, if they search Austin and fiddle, they'll find me. But my YouTube channel that you could subscribe to and find is Austin Scelzo, my last name, which is also my website, austinscelzo.com. And that's S-C-E-L-Z-O.
Scelzo. Yeah, I was on your website this afternoon, and I was quite impressed with what was going on in there.
Thanks. I had a lot of mentors when I quit my school teaching job who encouraged me to, make my way in the bluegrass music world or as a professional. One of them was Christian Howes and Pete Wernick, I mentioned,
Right.
And they just told me, every step of the way what I should be focusing on and what I should be ignoring was really the bigger, the bigger shiny
That's
thing.
what mentorship is supposed to be for. But one other thing that I happened to notice and just thought of, I noticed is there a Dan Tominski thing coming up?
That's right. Yeah, I just posted it in the latest newsletter. Dan Tominski's playing in my hometown here. Now, of course, I'm so bummed to miss almost any local event that happens on the weekend because I'm always out playing. I think I'm playing a string of shows with the Rock Hearts in New York State. But in my just 10 minutes from where I live in Newtown, right in the center of town at Edmonton Hall.
Yeah, the old Edmonton, yeah. Oh, that's good to know. Well, people can find out more information about that on your website as well.
Yeah, that would be, information on that would be Connecticut Bluegrass Association. And I think it's the 14th, off the top of my head, I think it's the 14th of November, a Friday.
And it's coming right up. So if you're interested, this is a great opportunity. You always support live music when you can. These people are human beings with mortgages and gas bills and, stuff to pay. So supporting them in live venues is always fun.
Absolutely. And I want to do one more shout out actually to another brand new venue that folks are in the kind of Western Connecticut or Westchester County area they should be aware of. It's brand new. And it's in Reading, Connecticut. It's called The Granite. And this guy who runs it, he has these two big nonprofits that help support and refurbish this old abandoned church. He's made it into this incredible community space where he told me basically, Austin, I want you to make this the Mecca of Connecticut bluegrass. Those are beautiful, beautiful words for me to hear. So I've been off the books running jams there, but now there's a monthly bluegrass night where people can come and play every first Thursday of the month. There's 3 or 4 concerts already in the books. I know Max Wareham is playing this Friday, and there's classes where people can learn to harmony sing or play these instruments. So people should, if they're interested in the area, they should definitely get on the Granite's email list or find them on Instagram.
Yeah, that's a totally amazing opportunity. I truly, truly thank you for taking the time and being patient with me as I tried to make technology obey me. Where are you heading next?
I have a quick little rehearsal with my band On the Trail. We're working out some tours where we're going to do a week in Nashville, a week in Florida, and we have some planning for our Christmas shows in Seymour that come up. We're actually doing 2 this year. We've done a couple Appalachian Christmas shows every year, and we always look forward
Seymour,
to it.
Connecticut?
Yeah, that's right.
Of all the wonder, that's a nice little obscure venue, a bluegrass mecca. I thank you so much for taking the time. It's an honor to be able to share your enthusiasm with my listeners, and that's what makes the world go around.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Brian. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's never a problem. I may conjure up some old Rock Hearts tracks. How long have you been with those guys?
Rock Hearts I joined around 2021, right around the same time I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's because
my job.
Yeah, because I remember seeing your name pop up, and I was like, I'm trying to get a timeline on you there. Anyway, I thank you so much once again, and look forward to seeing you around the corner at some venue somewhere, so, around Connecticut, New York State, who knows, Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll run into you soon. Thanks again, Brian.
Okay, have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Okay.